Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome all. Welcome to the course Entrepreneurship and IP Strategy. This is lecture 3. What do you understand by IP? Now, when we see the word intellectual property or IP, few things pop up in your mind. That what do you understand by property? What do you understand by tangible property? What do you understand by intangible property? What do you understand by patent? What do you understand by copyright? What do you understand by trademark? So, we will try to see what these different types of properties are and what these different types of intellectual properties are. So, starting with, say, this property. When we are talking about a property, we divide property into two types, that is tangible property and intangible property. When we say tangible property, what do you understand? It is something which you can touch, which you can see by your eyes. So, that is something which you can touch, you can see, that is what we call it as a tangible property. What do you understand by intangible? Intangible, it is like something which you are not able to see by your eyes, and this is something you cannot touch. So, that's something which you cannot touch, we call it as a intangible. Now, moving further, when we see that there are the intangible assets, that is another terminology, a parallel terminology or a different terminology is there. Property, and then here we are talking about a intangible assets. Now, when we say intangible assets, two words are there, intangible and assets. Now, assets, you understand that this is something when you buy certain thing for a future investment, or you anticipate that okay, if I invest some amount of money in particular thing, probably I am getting benefit after few years, that is some future benefit is there, and that we call that we are creating assets. Now, we are talking about intangible assets. So, here you are investing something intangible in nature, and that is acting as an asset for you. And that intangible assets are divided into again two types, that is intellectual property and intellectual capital. Now, we are not going into details of intellectual capital much, but we will talk more about intellectual property. Now, but to give you a little feel about intellectual capital, I will just give you a few examples of intellectual capital. That is, there is a human capital, structural capital, or the affective capital, cognitive capital, conative capital, organizational capital. So, the 6 types majorly what we can say which form the intellectual capital, and that intellectual capital forms innovation capital, and that innovation capital is responsible for creation of inventions or innovations. So, in short, intellectual capital contribute to create a intellectual property. Now, what do you understand by intellectual property then? So, here in intellectual property, you can see two types, immovable property and movable property, that is a types under tangible, and in intangible you are seeing a intellectual property. Immovable and movable, by seeing this slide only you can understand. Immovable property is something which it is not moving, movable something which is you are able to move from one place to other place, that kind. So, we will not go in details of that property types, but we will now concentrate on a intellectual property. So, when we say intellectual property, what do you understand by a intellectual property? Something intellectual is there, and through that intellect, property is created. Simple, if we analyze that word. So, a property which is created by a creative mind, we are calling it as a intellectual property. Moving further now, these are the different examples or different types of intellectual property. Probably you have heard these few types like a trademark, patent especially, or copyright, or trade secret. So these types you probably have sometime you have probably have seen in the news or magazines, and probably you have heard that okay, this trademark, say for example Google trademark, it is getting a value of something like a $44 billion, something like that, probably you have heard. So, or you might have heard that okay, one patent, and that entrepreneur by using that single patent have created a business, and now he have won something like 100 crores. Probably you have heard such kind of stories. So, we will just see what these different kinds of IP or different types of intellectual property are. So, we will start with the copyright. In the copyright or related rights, if you see this kind of intellectual property, where it will be important, if any entrepreneur is working in a domain of publishing industry and film industry, copyright is like indispensable there. You should take care of a copyright if you are in that particular industry or that sector. Second type is like a patent, where it will be very important. If you are so much of technology driven if some sector, so for example mechanical engineering related or something like civil engineering, obviously if some new technology you are implementing, or in medical technology, biotechnology, pharma industry. So these are the sectors where what we can say that inventions and innovations are very important. Obviously patent will be the most important type of IP in that particular sector or that particular domain. Industrial design, where it will be important, it is something which is very important when it comes to marketing. So, for example, if you enter into a mall or in the say Walmart or something like that, that big malls or shop or something like that, you get attracted by certain products. You just choose some products based on the appearance, right? Or suppose you are sitting and in front of you are on the road, and if you see some particular car is going, so if suppose Maruti car goes or Mercedes Benz goes, Rolls Royce goes, you just observe that, and by seeing only you understand, oh, this is Maruti brand, or this is say Rolls Royce, or this is say Mercedes. So the thing is that just by look, by appearance, you just judge, okay, this is something related to this brand or this business. So this is something that design is like important in that marketing aspect. It is very, very important. There is a special subject like shelf management and that kind of courses are there, which will take care only that how consumer can be attracted towards a particular product based on the appearance. Then the next type you are very well versed with, that is like a trademark. If I say something like Bata, Tata, Reliance, Bank of India, State Bank. So, if certain words come, you just relate it with a something. So, for example, if Tata comes, you will immediately remember that Tata cars are there, Tata salt is there, or Tata hospitality services are there. You immediately relate with that thing. When I talk about Bata, you immediately imagine that Bata showrooms, footwear related business, and the quality of that particular thing. So, similarly, if you are in an academic institute, if somebody says MIT or IIT, you immediately relate, oh, IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, then what will be the quality and all that thing. So, it's like a one word, one symbol. It gives a recognition and gives idea about the particular, what we can say, the business or the organization or the quality or a product range, something like that information you immediately recollect. So that is what the trademark is. Then you go towards a trade secret. Now this is something very, very important kind of intellectual property in any business, because you have to remember that know-how or tacit knowledge, when we are talking about that particular thing, in every business there is some or the other know-how is there, some or the other tacit knowledge is there, which is like kept as a secret, which is like known to only few people, and that is like making your business special because of that particular know-how or that particular what we can say the process. It can be a process, it can be a customer list, it can be a certain kind of activities. So this all things which will give you or the business value, that particular thing is called as a trade secret. And Coca-Cola is most hyped or a most known example of a trade secret. You know that. Then there are few other types of IP, but when you are talking about entrepreneurship, I will say that this first 5 types, these are very, very important. So if you are starting an entrepreneurship, trademark is what we can say that you will have some name, and that name is acting as a trademark. You have to I'm just what we can say superficially connecting it and giving you the relation and how you are related as an entrepreneur with this IP. I'm just giving you the little idea about that particular thing. If you are creating some technology driven product, obviously patent is very, very important, and that will give you competitive edge. If you are having giving or offering is some product, it may be a online product, it may be a something like actual tangible product which you are offering. Obviously you will have some kind of you will provide some kind of appearance, some kind of packaging kind of thing. All these things you are giving to that particular product. At that time industrial design will be very, very important for you. If you are giving that your product range and all that thing, with every product you may have some manual, and that manual will act as a copyright that will give you the, you have to take care of the copyright kind of thing when you are talking about that. If you are in film industry or publication industry, then copyright is an important, that is a major chunk of the IP which you will deal with. Trade secret, this is something you are always, you will always have in your business, and you have to take care of the trade secret. You have to keep the confidentiality about that trade secret. Now, few other types of IPs are there. Maybe you may not be directly connected, but you should know that okay, these are the few other types of IP. So these are a layout design of an integrated circuit. Now, what is that exactly? You are aware about a Texas Instrument. Now, if you see that that particular integrated circuit layout design is there, and for that dedicated act is enacted. But I will say that this act is not that much what we can say explored. Mostly people or businesses are following patent for that particular integrated circuit layout design, but that act, dedicated act is there. There are a few reasons why people are not following that, but this is one of the IP, and dedicated act is there. Then geographical indication is there. So this is something very, very important, or when we are talking about India, because we have a what we can say a good range of geographical indications, and a few examples are Darjeeling tea, Kolhapuri chappal, Solapuri chaddar, Kashmiri shawl, or West Bengal, it is connected with the Rasagulla, Tirupati laddu. So there are n number of examples which talk about a geographical indication, and you are well aware about a Basmati case also. So the thing is that this is something regional speciality, that because of the production or because of that particular region, that particular qualities are what we can say you find in that particular product, and you immediately relate. When I have taken certain names, you immediately gone to that particular region, and that is a regional specificity, and therefore it is called as a geographical indication. And the next type is like protection of plant varieties and farmers' right. Probably if you are in agriculture business, then probably this can be one of the important IP you have to look into. And here what we can say, the different types of plant varieties are taken into consideration, because plant is not patentable, seeds are not patentable according to Indian Patent Act Section 3, and therefore for that protection, if any innovative things are happening in that particular domain, obviously we have a separate act, that is a protection of plant varieties and farmers' right. So when we see the intellectual property. These are the major types of IP. As an entrepreneur, as I have already told you, first 5 types will be very, very important for you, and slowly as course progresses, we will go in a detail of each and every type, and we will give you idea about how this IP are like indispensable. But already you, if you are in the entrepreneurship activity, already you have IP with you, and you have to identify that okay, which IP I am having and how I should go for a protection of that particular IP. So moving further, if you are well versed with these types of IP, I will go further and we will see what do you understand by property and intellectual property, what similarity is there, because this intellectual property subject is like little bit probably you will feel, oh, this is little bit new subject, how I can relate it with the what I know. So here are the examples. You are well aware about a jewelry, car, flat. So if you want to relate this property and intellectual property, there is a very good, what we can say, relationship between this property and intellectual property. There is a similarity. Simple thing. Few things which you should remember when we are talking about intellectual property is that any intellectual property you consider, it is first time in the world. First time in the world. This you just remember it perfectly. Novelty is a much important when we are talking about IP. You take copyright, you take patent, you take industrial design, you take trademark. Novelty aspect is the most important aspect when we are talking about intellectual property. So the thing is that, and novelty is not limited to say India, it is limited, it is like a world novelty. It should be first time in the world. That kind of a quality or that kind of a criteria is there when we are talking about IP. Now how you can relate that, okay, if you want to take a flat, suppose in that particular building, what procedure you will follow? Just think what procedure you will follow. You will check what are my requirements, right? So you will, based on your requirements and specification, you will select a particular flat. After that, what will you go? That you will check the first important thing you do is like a legally, whether that flat is, what we can say, the title is clear or not. That you check. So similarly, when you are doing a IP related activity, you will check that whether really whatever I am doing, whether it is a novel in the world or not. You have to check that is. So we call in patent, if it is patent related, we call it as a search report. In flat related, if you are purchasing a flat, you ask for a search report from the lawyer. You say that okay, you check that whether check the search report. Bank asks you about a search report and also ask about a valuation when the loan is to be disbursed. That kind of things are completely means this kind of activities you generally follow when you are buying a property. Same thing you have to do with the intellectual property. You will check novelty thing and then you will check that okay, novelty is done. What then you do? You create one agreement, a document where owner is, the owner name is there. It may be that owner may be a builder, that may be a previous owner, whatever it may be. And then you are like a buyer. So similarly, when you are talking about a registration of intellectual property, where you are doing registration, here there are dedicated patent offices, trademark registry is there, industrial design office is there, and there you are registering your IP, and here you have to write down the specifications about your IP, and that document, in that there is a certain format, in that format you are submitting it to government. Okay, and then you are giving certain amount of statutory fee. You are giving stamp duty or registration fee when you are buying a flat. Similarly, here you are giving a statutory fee to a government, and in that what we can say, return of that, you are getting a security that okay, this is your property, intellectual property, you are the owner of that particular property, and now after registration, if you follow that particular criteria and examination goes that well and you get grant for that patent or that trademark registration examination you passes with all that phases, then you own that particular property. So same thing is there. Here search report, registration, stamp duty or registration fee, and ownership. Same thing here, novelty check, then that documentation, submission to the patent office or trademark office or industrial design office, registration fee, that application fee, and then the registration or ownership with you. Same thing happens with car also, same thing you do with jewelry. So here also whatever type of IP is there except trade secret, which is there is no any law in India, or you are not making it public, all other types of IP you have to register with a certain that government offices in your area. That jurisdiction is fixed, all details you will come to know slowly, and accordingly you have to go for that particular registration and getting the ownership of your IP. Okay. So this is what you can understand. Now, once you get the that ownership, what you can do with that particular property? What do you do with a flat if you own? You control the use of that particular flat, right? You you get a benefit from that flat. So you make rent it out and you can get in return some X amount. So that is some benefit you are getting from that property, or you can transfer that to somebody else. So if you want, okay, to transfer it to your friend or your relatives, you transfer the property. You can sell out. So today I buy the flat, and maybe after 2 years when I get good appreciation, I will sell that flat. You can do that particular thing. Or you can exclude others from using property. Who will enter in your flat? That is your decision. Nobody without your permission is allowed to enter in your flat. So you are doing all these things with your flat or a car or any property. Similarly, when you get right over that intellectual property, when you own, you are doing same thing. You are controlling use of patent, controlling use of trademark if you are having the trademark. Obviously, if you are entering into entrepreneurship, 90% chances are there that you will own some trademark. Then if copyright is there, you will not allow anybody to use that copyrighted material. You will not allow anybody to copy your design if your product is having specific design. So you can do all this. You control your property. You get benefit from your property because this is giving you a monopoly for a certain period. So the timelines are there. That like a patent is giving you what we can say, the life of patent is 20 years. Life of copyright is author's life plus 60 years. So that kind of specific period is there. So you are getting that benefit from the property for that particular time, and you can transfer that to your relatives, your friends. You can sell patent, you can get money after selling that particular patent. You can exclude everybody from using it, that particular, what we can say, any type of IP. So it's like your decision who will use that particular property. So same thing like intellectual property and property. Whatever you are doing with property, same thing you are doing with intellectual property. Now here, what I will suggest you to go through this video and you just watch this video. Now why this video is there? How you have to look into this video, or why we have put this video? The thing is that we say that this intellectual property is for wealth creation. So here in this video we have given a case study. One case study is there. Genentech case study is there. So this Genentech is started with the one patent, a single patent, and it's a very interesting story that how exactly that patent is filed and application is done. It's a very good example of academia entering into the entrepreneurship and creating a wealth, started with one patent and the portfolio built up to 11,000 patents, and recently this Genentech is bought by Roche. So you can enjoy this case by watching this video. I am giving you another hint. Check this image. Now, any guess? Okay, one more hint. These are the details of the patent. Now, yes, they are Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer. And the original assignee is Board of Trustees of the Leland Stanford Junior University. This information on the screen you are seeing is what is publication number, what is publication type, what is application number, what is publication date, what is priority date, who are the inventors, and who is the original assignee. This is a standard format to provide an information about a patent. what do you mean by publication number? What do you mean by publication type, application number? All these things we will see when we will go through the modules in week 3 titled How to Read a Patent Document. We hope that you will enjoy this video. You just go through for the details through this video. Now moving further, if you see these types, like whatever the types of IP are there, you just see the in one word or in few characteristics are there related to that particular IP. So which are these characteristics? You just check this thing. If when we talk about a patent, patent is something which is related to invention. So generally any product or a process technology is there, product or a process technology is there, that generally goes into category, means that can be protected by a patent. Inventions and innovations. Please note there is a difference in inventions and innovations, but when we talk about a patent act, we always say that inventions and there are only product patent and a process patent. We in India we have these two types of a patent. We don't have a utility patent. Then trademark. When we talk about a trademark, what exactly trademark gives? Trademark gives you identity. So company name, business name, or logo, slogans, symbols, all these things which are there, they form a trademark. So trademark is nothing but a identity. Then when we talk about a copyright, what copyright is? Copyright is an expression. It is an expression, and it's like a more related to artistic and literary work, softwares. Then there are architectural designs are there, marketing concepts are there. So all these things form a copyright. So copyright is an expression. Patent is related to product or a process. Trademark is related to one word, some name, that or logo that is giving a identity. Then the industrial design, it is something related to aesthetic value. It's like related to a product design, it's a packaging, something which is giving some attractive or very, what we can say, the thing which is giving aesthetic value to that particular product. It is a industrial design. Then the next is like a few types, other types, whatever we have did. That geographical indication is there. One more thing I will just try to put here, that when we are talking about a geographical indication, please remember that this is one of the important type of IP. Here, a group of people are associated with that. We will go in little detail of that when we will see the geographical indication related details, because this can be one of the good, what we can say, business, a group business. Best example I can give here, it is like if there is like a registration, say for example Kolhapuri Chappal is there, then whole area they can do the production and they can build up a business based on that. We will go more details on it when we will see it specifically. Then protection of plant varieties and farmers' right is there. It is more related to the, as I have already told you, we don't patent, we don't have that facility to patent seeds or plant varieties or horticultural, what we can say, horticultural developments. So here this is the act which take care of that particular thing. Then there is a semiconductor layout design, and I have given you details about that also, and that is not much explored. And trade secret is nothing but something know-how, trade secret, and every business will have some or the other trade secret. So what are the different acts which are there, which are taking care of this particular types of IP? So if you see here, there are a patent act, then there is a copyright act, then there is a trademark act, then there is a design act. So then there is a geographical indication of goods, and that is a registration and protection act is there. Then there is a protection of plant varieties and farmers' right act. There is a semiconductor integrated circuit layout design act is there. Then there is a biodiversity act is also there. So when we are talking about these different kinds of acts, there is a patent act, copyright act, trademark act, design act. These are the specific or dedicated acts are there which are taking care of these different types of IPs. So moving further, this is like a statutory provision which is present for intellectual property. So if you see this, what we can say, the different types of IPs, and statutory provision, you get a pretty well idea, oh, this intellectual property, when you enter into that, that is what we can say, various types are there and every IP is different. So we cannot use these words interchangeably, and there is a different kind of time period is there, that how much time you will get a monopoly when you have a particular type of IP, and how effectively you can use this IP when you are doing your business. So we will go more details when we will go through the course, but now at least you are getting the basic idea. Okay, these are the different types of IP. So what is different types of IP are there? What are the different types are there? What are the different acts in India enacted to protect this IP? So that idea you have received. Now the question comes whether I own any IP. That is the important thing. Okay, these types of IPs are there. You have to just, as an entrepreneur, you just enter and give a thought process that, okay, this is my business. These are the particular products I am offering, or this is a service I am offering. You just think whether I own any type of IP, whether I have a patent, whether I have a copyright, whether I have a trademark. Just think over that particular thing. If you feel that, okay, some IP probably I have, you just think next, how will I protect it? What is the procedure for that particular thing? So we will give answer to that, how you are going to protect it and how you will detect whether you have any kind of IP, so that whether you have a potential IP, when you go through this course, you will definitely get the idea to judge whether you own IP and how you are going to protect it. Next question, very important, is that can I generate wealth from IP? Because the important thing is that when we are talking about IP, we are talking about a business. IP is like, we are not doing it for biodata or just to show it that, okay, I have a patent, I have a copyright. No, we are not doing IP. It is completely like when I have IP, I should generate wealth. So you have to think how I can generate wealth from this IP. So that is the next, what we can say, most important question. Once you go through the course, probably you will get idea about that all details. So you please go through the next modules to get the details of that. And thank you. We will meet you in the next.